Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
$2025 is here, and in wrestling terms, it's a new year. It doesn't mean anything, honestly. It doesn't. The only thing it pretty much is that it's the roll to WrestleMania and WWE and other wrestling promotions is just saying, who do we hope not to lose to WWE or any other promotion this year? I feel as though that last year in 2024, we had an interesting year in wrestling. We had promotions that actually did better than we thought they would. Promotions that came out of the woodwork that actually are showing some life in their company. We have some that are just stagnant in what they're doing right now, and we have talent that's been able to move around and bounce around and be successful. On the show this week, of course, we have our boy Homework Mike drops in, and as well as Ariana Nata Grande here. And remind everybody, I'm the beauty of this episode, so remember that I am the good-looking one here. So
that's right.
Don't look anywhere else. So Ari, big shocker. Big shocker for you this week this year that happened in 2024. What was a big shocker for you that happened in 2024 in wrestling?
Oh God, there's so much that's happened.
I mean, the obvious one, the Kingpin goes down. Vince.
Obviously, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was in the works. That was in the works for a minute, but Ari, like, I know your hubby, had a good year this year.
Semi good year, yeah. I mean, that was great to see that moment happen at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a highlight. What else? Also, I guess, not a surprise, but I guess seeing Danielson have his day in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That was really beautiful. I thought that was, really well done. And I think one of the things, like you said, like a lot of the switches that we saw, a lot of the guys and girls that went back and forth between the major promotions,
right?
But that we never thought we'd see, pop up in in AEW or the other way around.
Yeah, and this is why I'm saying that I, as much as people may say, well, you hate on one company and join, I was like, no, I don't. When I smell shit, I know there's shit around. So it's like it's not. I'm particularly one more than the other. I enjoy the fact that we have companies and promotions that are out because we love to see individuals pop up in different places. For instance, when you see talent pop up at a indie show, hell. We were at a rival and Moose came out of nowhere. We were like, holy shit, where the hell did this happen?
Yeah, that was fun.
So it's good to see that there's even some love that's even being trickled down to the indie scene and such like that. It's a beautiful thing. Mike, who has been a disappointment for you in 2024? What's been a disappointment in 2024?
The promise or the false hype that we were having for Chad Gable. Because I mean, we were thinking like, oh, this man's gonna get a push finally, and he got a push, but it was like pushed under the surface, like pushed into his grave. I don't understand what kind of push he had, but at least he's using the spotlight. But it's just like it didn't make any sense. And then also too was like to see how the Wyatt Six appeared and how they've been treating them so far. Where it's like for so many months we were getting sort of speculating like, are they gonna have magic? Or it seems silly to say like, is magic gonna happen in wrestling? Meanwhile, it's like, thank God it's just normal tribute Bray Wyatt gimmick. where that's where it should be at this point. I'm very curious to see if because now it's time. Like, do they go after championships? Because we'll have to wait and see how that goes for this year with them.
Yeah, with Chad Gable, it's kind of hit and miss with me. I got I got someone who calls me almost every freaking day. Shout out to my boy M2 Inc. That's my guy. He calls it to bitch about wrestling, and that's all. I'm like, save it for the show. Save it for the show. One of his biggest gripes has been Chad Gable, and I said, one example that he gave to me today was like he's giving me Dolph Ziggler vibes. I'm like, I can't disagree on that though. I can't, but at the same time, I really believe that there is going to be an upswing for this kid. There's going to be something that's there. The hope is that 2025 gives that that look that he's a company guy, that he knows how to put the business in. Hell, there's a tease already that's we talking that most likely he'll be facing Penta on the debut on Raw. So that's a company move. That's a big thing in wrestling that says, hey, we're gonna debut a guy with someone we know that can work with him well. So that's exactly a push. Hell, Ariana's husband got that push this past year. Damien got that look after he took care of Bad Bunny. So we'll see what that. Ari, who on the women's side for 2024 had been the most standout? Although tabbies are coming out, guys. Nominees are being made. Believe me, the discussions are being done. We're going to have out there our nominees so that you, the listeners and the viewers, are going to be the ones who decide from our 8 to chop it down to 4 who we have to select are our standout Tabby Award winners. But for just a teaser, Ari, who was a standout performer for you as woman-wise in 2024?
Toni Storm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
She took this chance with this rebranding of her image that could have easily went downhill because how often do we see a 1930s 1940s style wrestler, any kind of character, unless it's in a historical movie, and pull it off the way she did? It could have really alienated a lot of fans, especially a lot of the younger fans. But she took it and she made it gold because she has amazing comedic timing, which we never got to see before.
Mm-hmm.
Ray on the mic, she was cutting these amazing, witty, snarky promos left and right. They left everybody like, did she really just say that? Mm-hmm. Did she get away with saying that just now?
Yeah.
And just everybody just fell in love with timeless Toni Storm.
Yeah, which is going to be a it's funny because she's actually in the upcoming movie that's based on, I believe, is Mildred Birch that's happening. Yeah, and did you guys see who's playing Mae Young? Not Mae Young, Moolah.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Mickey James. She would be playing Moolah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I forgot who's gonna play Mae Young though, but there's an assortment of hell. Naomi's in the movie.
Like I know Camille's in the movie as well.
Right. So that movie's gonna be interesting. So Toni basically got herself a gig basically by doing that because she was able to transition that into to movie role.
It's commitment too, because I mean, like it could have been like one bad city, like she gets booed out there, and they're like, next week let's do something else. Where from the end of 2023 till continuing to 2024, she kept it going. Like I already said, she got promos where she would say things like, and like it wasn't the silly stuff where it's like chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoot. But there was like when I was talking about Serena Deeb, like I don't care that you had cancer, like outrageous stuff. Like
she was saying talking about the parties that they were having and using those terms from that time that people are like, let me Google that real quick. What does that mean? Oh, that's what that means, like. And even her matches were stand out throughout. Like she put solid match after match after match in her title defenses.
Yeah, who pretty much uses the word "who's gal" when talking about going to jail? Like those are
exactly
vintage words. The slammer or whatever stuff like that.
Bringing up like old Hollywood starlet and star names, and they're having like
Yeah.
orgies and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, that's something that we are we kind of lose in from year to year commitment to characters and their gimmick and stuff. I see what I did appreciate for 2024 is that they're trying to somewhat balance the line of shoot and fade. Cody actually walked around with a neck brace for a week or so after he took the package pile driver.
Yeah.
We're still up in the air to know whether or not who really hurt Jade and if she's really injured. Like they're still trying to balance that out there.
Right.
But then we lost, when it came from the massacre that happened at Raw, and with the Wyatt Six killed everybody. I mean, come on, let's just be for real
And it
here.
came back to life the next week.
Exactly,
Very
right.
days of our lives. Nobody ever dies in WWE.
Yeah, and they got rewarded with contracts, which was the funniest part. Was like guys, they
Right.
kill people, and then I was like, I
shouldn't
understand,
they be
but
behind bars?
and then I was like, I signed them on all to deals.
It would have been such a cool ending if it wasn't for the hole in Gable's head. Like that would have just like.
Yeah, I think
That was
that was one visual they went a little too far with.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh, he's out, and then like on Friday they recon they're like, oh, now he's back. He comes back with a bandage on his head, bruised
walking
ribs.
around like nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have probably maybe we've been a little bit excessive with that. But speaking of factions and tag teams and such, Mike, who was your standout tag team so far from 2024?
This one was kind of hard to say because a lot of the tag stuff this year, I feel like got left in the back seat for a lot of the year. Because like when you think about all the PLEs, especially for WWE, aside from WrestleMania, no tag title defenses, no tag team matches showcasing them. But I mean, if any team really stood out, I guess it has to be DIY because at least they had some tag title run, they got a tag title run twice, and now they're still the champions. And now we're seeing a heel version of both of them. I mean, we've seen heel versions of each of them separate when they feuded with each other, but now that they're together, hopefully they spark life into it. I mean, as a guy watching TNA growing up, to get to see the Motor City Machine Guns finally debut on WWE TV, and funny enough, they win the belts in 2 weeks as soon as they debut. I mean, that was pretty special to see.
Yeah, I thought for me that it sucked that injuries that do happen in wrestling, but this one was an unfortunate happen. I thought ABC was really going to be like that team that's going to be the next one that comes out of TNA and probably would have gotten on everybody else's radar. Shout out to Chris Bay. I know there's been many GoFundMe's has been going on to get him well and such. That was a team that was on a real rise that I believe would have been on a lot of people's radar for 2025. I thought that faction wise, I'm a big fan of having factions in companies because everybody wants to be part of something. It's always cool to see somebody wearing a certain shirt. This year, I guess the bloodline stuff was the one that was working for everybody, especially early in 2024 when the OGs that came out. We were waiting to see how they were going to debut the other Samoans that was going to come out, and the other Tongaloans, the other Islanders.
Be careful, they're Tongans, not Samoans.
Yeah, the Tongans, the Samoans, and listen, Latinos, blacks, we all the same shit. No one can. We're all the same thing.
You said it, not me.
No, because you would be racist if you said it.
No, I'll be racist I'm the racist one if I say all the black people need to be in stable.
But listen, but speaking of that, one of those, and I got called out for, which is true. The Hurt Syndicate actually transitioned over very well to AEW. I just hated what they did to Shelton during the Continental Classic. I hated that. I thought it was
really.
Yeah, he had the second lowest scoring. I
expect him to have a couple more wins.
Yeah,
But at least like he wasn't like it wasn't jobbed out. At least like, he competed on the same level with a lot of them.
Yeah, still, it doesn't seem like a good debut for me.
You know, the tough part with those kinds of tournaments is we already know that they have their plan going in,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So somebody has to take the losses.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I would have probably not even put him in there. I would have just had him in other matches. You know,
Right.
you
You
got
know?
a new person in there. You'd get somebody to been just schlub and let them take.
There should have
I
been at
mean,
least 2 losers in each league.
I
No,
mean, that's what Mortals and Commander were for.
exactly.
they got
Yes.
they barely got any wins, you know. So Shelton
Like,
did okay. For me, it kind of showed like, all right, he has some competition.
mhm.
He really has competition now. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, speaking of that, you know, we also saw some departures. We mentioned debuts and stuff like that. Shocking, Ari. Who was the most shocking departure that you saw in 2024 from one promotion to not even to another, or just leaving?
wow, God, we saw so many people like in and out. Um, ooh. I have to think on that one. You may want to circle back in a little bit.
I mean,
I'll give you one right off the back right now that I bet no one had on their bingo card.
Hmm.
Samantha Irving leaving WWE right off.
Yeah,
true.
that was a shock. Yeah,
I
it
didn't see
was.
that.
Yeah,
Came out of
it
nowhere
kind
on a
of
Monday
was,
afternoon.
and it kind of wasn't because I kind of was like, I don't know how long she'll last without in WWE after
Hmm.
Ricochet left. I didn't think she was going to A. I mean, I thought she would have gone to AEW after him, but I guess having him not around made her see that there's more to her talent wise than
Hmm.
standing in a ring saying names. She could sing, she could play musical instruments. You know, that's always been her dream. So why not go
Well,
for it? Take the
I
chance
just,
now that you have exposure and you have money in your pocket because they know they paid her lovely. Take the
Mhm.
advantage. Take advantage now and get that dream career going.
it was definitely weird because the timing of it. Because she was pretty much in every PLE. She was. Did they bring in Mike Rome? They didn't bring in Alicia Taylor for those shows. It was always Samantha Irvin. Whether they're going to Germany or France, she was always there. And I think just when like it's just on a random afternoon before, well, oh, I'm leaving WWE for.
Well, she
I,
said that it was in the works. That they already knew ahead of time that she was leaving that day.
right,
But
which is still
but
which still
we didn't know.
shocked me.
We
Yeah, but
didn't know as fans, but they on business level, they already had their discussions. I think that I mean, for she said it was 3 months in the making for her to leave, and the timing was perfect. That's what she said on Twitter
yeah,
when to shut the fans up, blaming Ricochet for her leaving.
well, I mean, them two really have not been angels on social media. But you know what? It's also too the trolls that
Well,
like.
the fans are assholes.
No, I get that, but it's also too it's like where it's like when you leave the WWE, all of a sudden you now have like you all of a sudden have a spine and start tweeting at people like reacting. Like, where it's like the
Because they
reactions didn't
weren't
help.
allowed to do it in WWE.
I understand
WWE
that.
has a rule where they are not allowed to speak up to any fans unless it's praise. They have an image to, but now they're like, we're free to say what we really want to say. You want to come into my face and disrespect me or my husband? Guess what? I'm not standing for that.
And that's where you get toilet paper thrown at you.
Hey, it's
I'm
working for him.
Hey, listen, for me, I said, hey, more power to them. Do what you got to do. I'm one of those that it's like, um, milk it till the cow is dry. If I was, in that situation, that's the way I would be. But I'm also at the same time, I'm stubborn where I could be like, I could be doing other things. I could be doing better things. So who knows? At the same time, more power to them. I hope everything else pops up. The one thing that I said was shocking about not departing, not making a leap, not taking that next step. MJF staying in AEW for me was like, really? Like,
But you called it though. You said he wasn't gonna leave.
He wasn't
yeah,
going
I
anywhere.
called it, but at the same time, I was still like, really? And for me, I really believe that. I kind of think he's scared. I really do. I think he's scared to make that. I think he's in a comfort zone right now in AEW that it's like he gets to go away. Hell, you only have 5 matches a year. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you gonna do? Like,
I mean, he took the freedom to do movies and stuff.
right.
He's comfortable. That's the thing. He gets to do what he
Yeah.
wants. I mean, the only time he gets to wrestle, aside from like when he was a babyface, he wrestled a lot. And when he's a heel, you
He was
never
champion.
see him. You never see him. He's cutting promos, sending them in. But he was a pay per view type of. He had that weird Brock schedule where he doesn't wrestle TV, but he wrestles on the pay per views.
Yeah, I guess he
And
just had all these projects lined up ahead of time as well, and Tony will give them that freedom to be able to work outside of the ring, and it just all fell the way they did, and you know maybe that's why they decided to turn him heel so that he could be more elusive and be in and out more often, and
Right.
come out and be like,
But he's
I
better
don't
off. He's better off as a heel, honestly. But because the babyface was still weird because he was like y'all my scumbags, y'all the devil worshippers. Like that's not babyface stuff.
You're my scumbags.
Yeah.
And then to get a tattoo with the whole, I said, look, at least gratefully down the line, he could always fill in the circle where it says AEW and just black it out. But it's like, wow, we went all in, huh?
Well, at least
Pun intended.
right, at least he chose it like where his boot covers it because it was on his
Not
arm.
on his neck.
He would have been fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Right here.
not on exactly, not on his neck.
Oof.
I will say that when WWE was able to work with TNA the past year, that honestly surprised me the most. Because when you had guys like Joe Hendry and Jordan Gray show up in TNA, even like you had Hammerstone and Rosemary, the people that still follow TNA that love it to this day still, getting to see them on a bigger national TV scale. Because let's be real, TNA's TNA deal sucks. So at least they got to be on USA Network and now the CW. So
Yeah, the other shocker for me about departures was Scott D'Amore with TNA. I was like, really?
Yeah, that was mind blowing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big one too.
That was power play bullshit too.
Yeah, but I actually had to look it up recently. It looks as though that he's in conversations with WWE. So
that's the rumbles I heard too. Let's
Yeah,
see if it's
so-
real.
So does that mean like Maple Leaf but Maple Leaf Wrestling is going to be on pause, or like he's not going to do it anymore?
they don't know yet, but they already had their inaugural show. And who knows? Like, listen, hey, there's rumblings and rumors that Sean is ready to go to sit next to Triple H at Gorilla, and Scott D'Amore could sit there with what's his name from TNA?
Gabe
No,
Sapolsky?
not Gabe. Jeremy Borash.
Jimmy Borash.
To help with NXT. So yeah, so that it could be possible. It can be possible. So that was like one of the big shockers for me. It's like, why? And then AEW should have been easily to sweep that guy up, but as Tony 2024. New Year say me 2025 is saying nothing's changing in creative. I'm still gonna run this thing and I'm gonna do it the way I want it. So it's like, good for you. Own it.
He can still bring people in just to be on like a team.
Yeah, but it seems as fast as they come in, they go. Like I mean, Jimmy Jacobs, he hires people that you think would be perfect for a creative team, and then he fires them for no particular reason.
His ideas were terrible. His ideas are terrible, though. If all that stuff that came out was real, like remember that list of stuff that came out, everything sounded like crap, and I'm like, really? Like, how do you not know who Okada is, bro?
Yeah, that gotta be bullshit. Like, I
couldn't believe that. There's no way this man doesn't know who Okada is.
Although he is, I think he was the creator of the learning tree. I believe that was his thing. That was it. That was probably the one thing that came out of that.
Then he deserves to be fired. Because let's be real here, Jericho's been probably like the worst. I wouldn't say worst because there's other worst. The most annoying gimmick the past year for 2024.
One of them.
Yeah,
one of those people that came on TV like we don't need to see you on TV weekly. Like, where's the other stars? Like enough.
Right.
Well, the smartest thing that they ever did was actually just leaning into going into the new year was turning Ricochet, and it was done beautifully because he was about to be on that same level on the same list of just go away kind of dude. He needed to be shaken up. He needed a shake up.
Yeah, that that last week, that was pretty awesome what he did.
Yeah, and one of the
He goes
nominees
straight
that
up.
I wish I would have put on the list, but it happened so late in the year was the New Day turn. Oh my
Yes.
god, that was
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
that was mind blowing.
They
Oh,
took
I don't know.
they took so many months to do that perfection. It was like you could have done this earlier.
oh,
But I
No,
get
had
it.
us
They want
thinking, they were breaking up all this time, and then you gave the switch and bait on us.
yes. Oh my god, that was
Mhm.
perfection.
I don't know.
Shut
I think
it.
that may have been the best thing that WWE has done all year because it caught everybody for a loop. Because a lot of
And
stuff they've done, it's good, but it's predictable. Like
such an
it writes
honorable
itself.
mention because it happened so late. Oh my god, it is
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll throw it in there.
Um, but since we spoke about what happened in 2024, we'll discuss 2025. 2025 so far is shaping up to be something interesting. We just saw New Japan and AEW have their past their pay per view just occurred. Kenny Omega's back. He had a great showing against Gabe Kidd. Great
Mhm.
match. Um,
good showing on Gabe Kidd too. I mean, that guy showed off too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They both had a great
Yeah,
match
fantastic. Yeah.
and such. Zack Sabre Jr. is holding strong there and with the title. Uh,
It was sad to watch Wrestle Kingdom though, because you could just like tell like it was obvious when all the stars left, but it's like they're in a real struggling period where they have to make stars, and like I Shota Umino, Yoda Suji, like a lot of those guys, like they're on the rise. But it's also good when you guys have like Zack Sabre Jr. and David Finlay when we get into predictions where it's like the rumors of contracts up again. So it's like who's AEW gonna steal? Who's who's on WWE's radar? Like because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people go from one side, well, at least go to the AEW, at least from New Japan, and I don't get like why the AEW fans like, oh, this is cool that we're stealing New Japan stars, but it's also like if you love New Japan, like you shouldn't like that either.
well, it's funny because with like again, you mentioned the departure of a lot of the elder statesmen. Um, they're still trying to generate that uh, buzz from incoming gaijin kind of guys and such like that. They had, the last time they had a real rush like that was like in the mid 2010s, like that they had like that big push. This era now is different, but the one thing that I can say is that the Japanese fan base is ridiculous when it still comes with wrestling. Like, shout out to AJ who was telling me about because he went to Japan last year and he was talking about how there's still like pop-up shops for Stan Hansen and Bruiser Brody. Like that,
Wow.
yeah, WWE like wrestling fans here don't have that kind of still love and commitment to the culture like, as they do. So with them, they'll always find a way to bring up a star and such and fan base wise. But transitioning it back over to the States is kind of difficult. Ariana, did you hear about what was going on with Athena and the other females that out there in Japan? They were actually killing it over there.
I hate that I didn't get to watch any of these shows this weekend. And I kind of just didn't follow up with anything besides the Kenny Omega Gabe Kid match.
Mm.
So I don't know. I gotta see if I could get my eyes on this somehow and see what the
Yeah,
ladies are doing. You
yeah.
know?
And speaking of ladies, the Young Bucks won their 11.
Of course,
Yo.
yeah, make a cut. I will say for like the women that in Japan, I did feel like they did show out, but I think the crowd was very mid for them because I think like they had the 4-way match with Athena, Will, and the other two women, and the crowd was very like silent. Like Athena had the best O face like her finisher, and the crowd pretty much didn't react to it at all. So it was like really weird. It was like on Wrestle Kingdom, the IWGP Women's Title. That match went 5 minutes. They were even 5 minutes on the fucking show.
Well, to be fair, women's wrestling in New Japan is actually fairly new. It's still maybe like a couple of years in. It's not really something that's been a staple of that promotion as of yet. So the crowds are also the fans in Japan are very different than stateside fans or other parts of the country. That's
They
why
are.
But still, 5 minutes though. It's like
I
you could
wish
give them a better attempt.
I wish. What? Look at New Japan's cards. Their cards usually are like freaking 15 matches themselves. They start like at 2 in the morning here in the United States. So it's like they perform
I
as
know.
well.
I'll wake up in the morning and I just go to Twitter and I'll still see people commenting on the show. I'm like, you've been up
Yeah.
all night watching this?
It's
Jesus.
done that.
Like it's still not over.
Yeah, it's done at 7 in the
I
morning.
fell asleep with the show starting.
Uh,
I mean, also Zack Sabre Jr. showed that Uno should not have gone 44 minutes. That was too damn long.
well, yeah,
I heard
I
someone else
mean,
say that too. It was way too long.
yeah, that and that's their way of looking. I said, listen, there's certain traits that state fans need to pick up from Japanese fans. Like, for instance, sit down. You're already in the front row. Why are you standing up? Sit the
Oh, that's my
No,
pet peeve.
no,
Being
look at
5'3".
Look at my asshole.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, sit down. You're already there,
No,
bro.
man.
Sit. But that's my bad. My prediction for 2025. Sit down. No one will sit down. They're not going to sit down anymore. No.
Everybody that sits front row will have a belt to pick up their pants.
Yeah,
Oh.
right. Yeah. Which is going to lead into 2025 and our predictions. Gonna go with Mike first because Mike, you pretty much had an idea of what 2025 is going to look like in your eyes.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the first one I'll start with is I have John Cena will win the men's Royal Rumble match and challenge Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
Okay. I don't see him winning the Rumble. I kind of believe that he'll win Elimination Chamber. I think they're going to say Rumble for somebody else. He's already given the "oh shucks, I'm not going to win. I haven't won a match in X amount of days. Boo hoo. But you know what? Never give
I'll
up."
do it. Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't think it'll be at Rumble, but I do see him winning it at Elimination Chamber. Adi, what you got?
Just a Rumble. I'm leaning towards Drew winning it. I just feel like it's his time. He leveled up big time last year. He carried a feud all by himself last year. It's time to reward the guy with the title shot and not have him just hold it for 5 minutes.
Right.
Well, I think with the window, the free agent window, I think they're moving him to SmackDown, so maybe they're gonna do him and Cody down the road.
Right? Yeah, because we saw them have that face off and the hug. So
I joked with you with like the whole him keep doing the hugging thing every week until he wins Rumble. Then he goes
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got for Rumble. I think it's gonna be interesting because you're gonna have Cena, you're gonna have Punk. You're gonna have McIntyre. You're gonna have Owens. I mean, not Owens. Sorry, you're gonna have probably Randy. And you're gonna have Roman. Roman has not been in the Rumble for some time, so that kind of throws something in the air with that as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's gonna be any major shockers. There never really is, but I kind of think this year's Rumble is not as predictable as people may think it is.
Yeah.
I have a prediction for AEW, which might be a reach. Orange Cassidy will win the world's title in AEW in 2025.
I'm not on board with that. No offense to him.
Right. The thing is, with the booking, I can see them do the complete opposite of like what you think they should be doing. Because I think Darby should win the world title over him, but with Orange constantly losing, I could definitely see them be like, "Oh, today's his day. He wins the belt."
It's funny because I see so many people after the weekend saying, "Scrap all your plans, put the belt on Kenny, let him have his final run," because we don't know how much longer he has left.
Yeah.
Let him be the one to beat Moxley. Let him come back and say, "This is my promotion. AW is my baby. You're not going to ruin it," and then take the belt off of Moxley.
Well, it looks like we're seeing a showdown with Kenny and Okada coming down again. We'll be looking at that again.
We have to wait till July. I got no problem with that.
I get the Orange Cassidy vibe because the hapless hero who's been a day one originator of the company, But if not him, the second would go to Darby. But one of them will has to be champion this year.
But the funny
Maybe
thing is,
later.
for AEW, you say either one of them wins, then you have Christian cash in and totally ruin the moment, and he becomes champion.
Right. Yeah, how long he's gonna be walking around with that shit?
Beating
Like
people up with a freaking aluminum foil thing.
you say Darby wins the title, then he drops it to Christian, then he could go climb Mount Everest. He wants to do so damn badly.
Right.
Yeah.
Ari, who else?
Another year
What
to
else you got? What else you got, Ari, for 2025? What prediction you have?
Oh man, it's so hard because like especially after last year where there were so many different things that happened. I would like to see the tag team wrestling as a whole get elevated again because I really feel like tag team across all the promotions. I feel like a lot of the focus was on singles and factions, and tag teams kind of took a back seat. We saw a lot of these let's say Judgment Day, both iterations of Judgment Day having the belts. They barely defended it. You had the Young Bucks holding the belt. They barely defended it. And TNA, I mean, TNA's been a little bit better with their tag division because, you had the Hardy Boys right now as champions, which I'm still like, why? But, it is what it is. But I want to see that and hoping that they will actually say, let's take this a little more seriously and elevate it up. Because, it feels like, especially in AEW, where you're starting to see some of these pairings happen, that they'll strengthen up their division,
Yeah, I thought I'm gonna tell. Sorry, Mike. Give me a second. I'm being a big tag team guy myself. I thought last year with a lot of hiccups that occurred were because of injuries that occurred. You saw ABC, we saw War Raiders have injuries and such. A lot of once one guy's gone, the other guy's just waiting in limbo to see what's going to happen next. So I think that was kind of what their big hiccup was for last year. But I agree. I think 2025 we should see an emergence of the tag team division again. What was that, Mike?
Everywhere.
I was going to add for Ari because I have AEW introduced women's tag team titles.
Well, that would be excellent.
Because Deanna Barnes and Ty Valkyrie are currently they're like a team now. So it's like if you're doing teams, like there would be tag belts for the women, right? I mean, if you want it to be all equal, might as well just do the last thing and then that's it. Because I mean, I'm surprised Jay's saying ew because you love championship belts more. The more the merrier. Meanwhile,
they got a shit ton, and I get it, but even still, that women's roster has yet to have for years to be showcased in a proper light. And tag team wise, I don't know.
That's their opportunity to do it.
Yeah, unless it's going to be a signature on, let's say, one of their shows.
Collision.
It maybe, yeah. But other than that,
they need something more with the women because they have a strong roster of women, and it's hard to display them all the time. I mean,
right.
And it's funny that you mentioned that also. And I was thinking earlier about I was talking to one of my friends who doesn't really watch AEW, and we were talking about old school wrestling and about wrestlers misting each other back in the day, the Japanese wrestlers. And I mentioned how in AEW we actually have Malachi Black and Julia Hart who have taken on that tradition of misting people. And then I was thinking about Sky Blue, right? Right. Last time we saw her in the ring, she was a heel. She was still very dark. But when she popped up in Chicago during one of the shows and to speak about her injury, she was just her regular self.
She went backwards.
Right. And then Mariah May attacked her, and then Aminata came out and saved her. And they're very good friends outside of the ring as well. And I could see them kind of pairing them up as well on screen when Sky Blue is back. So that's another little tag team that they could form, along with Deanna and Taya. Yeah. They can reconcile Chris and Willow.
Exactly, because I mean, they have the women. It's just that their problem is, or Tony's problem is that he has a new woman. He has them to go for the title instantly, and then they lose, and then they go away, and then they stay on TV. But they get random wins on TV, where it's like you have two belts, and where if you add tag team titles, at least there's more opportunities for more of these women to show off.
Exactly.
I mean, if they did fuck up the Mercedes Camille thing, that would have been a perfect tag team. But they
I don't know what happened there, but.
I mean, they also
have
they have the twin sisters, the Renegade sisters.
Oh, the Renegade twins, right?
Yeah.
I think
No, you got Soraya and what's the other one? Haley. Haley was what's her
Harley
name?
Cameron.
Harley Cameron. Yeah.
Harley Cameron, and then you also when Ty is back, they could have her pair up again with Anna Jay.
Mhm.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were a duo for a while. Like they have the opportunity to go well with having a tag division. And the same thing with WWE. For a long time, everybody was like, "Why is there not a mid card title for the women?" So more women can have the opportunity. Now they finally have not just one but two. So now
Yeah,
we
which
get to see a lot more women working and being on screen. So I mean, if you're gonna have a new belt, it has to be for the women. No more for men. We're good with that. They
There's
got
three.
plenty.
They have three mid card belts for the men in AEW.
Yeah, and then WWE got between the three rosters. They have a shit ton of belts.
Mm-hmm.
my prediction for 2025. Cody heel turn.
I have that too.
Yeah, we definitely have to have this go down the line.
We do. We have to see that.
Homelander Cody.
Listen, I mean,
Homelander Cody.
last night when he was sitting in the audience and The Rock kind of like spoke to him, the crowd was booing Cody. Did you guys notice that? They booed him.
Yeah, they also
It's
just
like,
they basically just threw out the idea like we're not doing Cody and Rock ever. We teased that and now we're not doing it.
Yo,
yeah,
that was a
whatever.
rock.
Just
Yeah, the Rock put a kibosh on that shit.
yeah, just pull the trigger on Homelander Cody Lander.
Well, M2N came up with an idea. He says, "What happens if he does it and he turns on Cena? Like
Right.
Yeah,
the old
perfect.
face of the company with the new face of the company." I said, that'd be interesting.
That'll
Yeah.
solidify his heel status as the asshole. Like you
Yeah.
turn on Cena, our hero.
You made him not get his 17th world title, you son of a bitch.
17th world title. My God.
Yeah, that'll be something.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised in 2020 because I think that she is unhappy at where she's at. Camille might jump ship and she's gone. I think
I have another one. I have the other one jumping.
who's that?
Britt Baker.
Interesting.
I have Britt
Interesting.
Baker requesting her release from AEW to go to WWE.
I think
Interesting.
her health is holding her back.
And her
I think
attitude.
and her attitude, yeah. But but I feel like there's something with her health that hasn't helped her progress in her return.
Hmm.
She doesn't even when you see her, she looks really like we were talking about that with about Adam Cole, right? Like
Oh yeah.
Jay, like
Yeah.
they just don't look well. Either one of
Yeah.
them. She still doesn't look well. Maybe she tried
I
to
don't
come
know.
back too soon.
Yeah, it's okay. Have a sandwich. It's fine. It's good.
Have a cheeseburger.
It's good.
Skin and bones when she came back. I'm like, good lord, I could see her organs. She's so skinny.
Yeah.
Another prediction from my end. Ricky Starks debuts at SummerSlam.
You think he gets his
Maybe.
release by that time?
Yeah. I think his contract is up in June. I think he debuts at SummerSlam.
Because I have him, Miro, and Ray Phoenix.
If not
getting their
SummerSlam,
releases.
SummerSlam weekend, because they'll probably slide him into motherfucking NXT,
That's what they're gonna do with him.
which won't be a bad thing though.
It'd be good.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah, because I can't see him going up to the main roster and being a. They just have so many stars right now in their two main rosters. He'll get lost in the shuffle of little guys and wrestling like Dragon Lee on speed.
Mm.
So he shouldn't be competing for the speed title. Not sure we're not doing that on that. We're doing that.
No. Nope.
I always forget those damn belts exist too. Like
I can't wait till WWE gets on fucking Blue Sky in 5 years from now. They're always late to know what's like the new shit. So they're 5 years from now.
Like Blue Sky Turbo matches.
Yeah. Well, I said it when you were talking about the Ricky thing, but I have like Ricky, Ray Phoenix, and Miro. Do you think those other two get their releases as well this year? Or do we wait till the following year?
Ray's being held until the summertime. That's as long as his contract is.
This summer?
Yeah. They just tacked on that injury time, so I think it should be about to July.
Okay.
As per Miro, I don't even know if he even cares about wrestling anymore these days.
I don't
No, he
think
doesn't.
so.
He wants his
No.
release, but his contract's till 2026.
He moved
Yeah.
to Bulgaria after his divorce.
Yeah, he went to Bulgaria. I believe he's been doing some films out there.
Yeah.
Even doing his gaming again and such like that. But
Yeah. He
yeah, I
maybe
don't know.
just tapped out of it. Like he's probably like, I'm
Mhm.
done with this business. This business hasn't been good to me like as I thought.
I mean,
Yeah.
good for him. I mean, if he has a success in Hollywood and wants to do acting, so like,
Absolutely.
let him
He's
do it.
got
I
a
mean,
great look.
right.
TNA possibly gets swallowed up by WWE.
I have that
Yeah, that's a scary one too.
because I think with them talking about reducing or not giving the roster the pay that they want, or like was it budget cuts? Or
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this is 2025 might be the end of TNA because I do think that WWE will be nice and bring in a lot of the talent, but I mean,
I mean, if they do that, I don't even know. It's such a hard situation because you don't want to see TNA go away, right? Because that's an option. It's
No.
an option for other
Right.
people. It's been around for so long. You really think about it, but then when
Right.
you hear things like, Chris Bay they had to create a GoFundMe for Chris Bay so that he could have money in his pocket while he's injured because TNA can't afford to pay him only his medical expenses. It's like that hit me hard. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's not good because a lot,
It's scary.
some of these it's scary because a lot of these guys get injured and his injury is very serious, right? It's his neck.
Yeah.
And like, what if
And
he
then
can never come back?
the company's owned by like $1 billion network. So
Right.
it's like, but WWE would actually swallow them up for like pennies on a dollar. So they
Oh, yeah.
probably could get it for cheap. But the
Right.
other for me is that we're already hearing that the next show that's going to be on the table is Evolve. The NXT Evolve is happening.
Well,
So
Right.
that could be a place where rather than have the NXT newbies that come in, you can start sliding in the TNA talent into NXT and use the Evolve as the the NILs that are coming in. That'll be
the real developmental.
yeah, because with them they're they're with the NXT or the Evolve, they're talking about it more being story driven. It's not just going to be a level up. They're going to actually have them cut promos. They're going to have them in angles and stuff like that. So you could switch things around.
I mean, I would like to see if they were to buy out TNA. Is just keep TNA, just keep it. Maybe you can have it as a Netflix exclusive promotion, or
Maybe.
just keep them. Let them still rock. Just throw in some money in there, and give these guys because they're not going to swallow them all up. They're going to release some people.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, there are options now for people to go to work other places, but some of these guys and gals may not be able to get a position in like AEW or even in the bigger indies like GCW or MLW. They may end up falling along the wayside.
A guy like PCO would be fucked in the situation because WWE's not
Right.
gonna hire a 57-year-old man to come
That
back
just
on
throws
on
himself
roster.
through tables, right?
Right.
No.
I mean, like you look at guys like Moose, Josh Alexander, Rosemary.
Right.
I mean, she does still has a
They'll
lot of
land
heat. But
somewhere.
she has a lot of heat still, but Tessa Blanchard would definitely make a lot of money in WWE despite all the bullshit.
And that's another thing is like if things are that could possibly be as bad as they are, why would they sign somebody like Tessa Blanchard? Why would they sign anybody right now?
Right now, she's on her supposed to
Because
be.
they're
know what I
losing
mean?
their money maker. They're losing their biggest female star. Come
That
Royal
is true.
Rumble.
They needed to replace her. Yeah, that's true. They
Yeah.
need to replace her. But
Yeah.
I mean, they could have also worked. You got Masha.
Right.
She right there is the one to replace Jordan as a top star.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those where I just hope that they can pull up their bootstraps and survive without having to be bought out by anybody.
Mike, what else you got for a prediction? Sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead.
My next prediction is I think this is going to be the year Zilla Fatu gets a WWE ID.
Yeah. Well, ID. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll take.
Right.
He's not ready for the big time yet.
But I definitely think by summertime he's going to get the WWE ID tag on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you agree, but to me, he's still green as goose shit to
He
me.
is. He's very green.
It's gonna be interesting to see his match with Rhino and House of Glory because Rhino's gonna be guiding him through that whole thing.
Yeah, that's good. It'll be a fun match. They're gonna be beating the hell out of each other.
Like he has
But
the charisma, but his in ring stuff still needs work.
yeah, it's still very. I don't want to say sloppy, but it's still very rough around the edges.
Right.
And I understand that's his style. The Samoan Dynasty style is rough as hell in the ring, but it has to be done in a way where it also looks smooth at the same time.
Well,
Like you see Jacob. Jacob is rough as hell, but it looks like ballet sometimes when he moves around the ring.
mm-hmm.
And that's where he still needs to own up on, like being a little smoother in the ring in his moves.
Is it Ricky Starks versus Santana at HOG
in Chicago?
It's in Chicago.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Also, I think Ricky might be also coming here, but I don't know who he's facing. I know Kent.
I know he has a New York show too.
Right.
Yes. Let's see. Let's see what.
Not a shit. Santana drops Ricky Starks.
You know what though? I wouldn't mind seeing that.
See, that's the shit. I want to see it. I want to be here for it.
Right. I mean, those are like one of the small ones. Like I give you, I also have like Samantha Irvin will join AEW, but be Ricochet's personal valet or manager. She won't do any ring announcing.
Maybe.
That's all right. That's what she wants. She's gonna be the new Brandy.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
The one and only best sci-fi in the world, Ricochet. Yeah, I definitely see because that's what she said she wanted to do. She wanted to be a manager of LA.
That's true. She said wanted some on-screen role. She wanted an on-screen role, and they weren't on board with that. She's gonna be the new
Ricardo Rodriguez.
That'd be kind of cool, though. Actually, seeing her come out and be his personal ring announcer, and he come out all cocky and shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
With his serial killer sunglasses on,
Hopefully they don't throw toilet paper at her because
then Ricochet will give her the scissors and she'll start stabbing people.
Yeah, need that.
That'd be wild seeing her stabbing up women and stuff with the scissors.
It'd be fun to see Samantha commit murder.
Damn, girl.
I can see it now. Ricochet going, "Hey Tony, we got an idea, man. Samantha and I. Here you see." Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Yeah. Do it.
Oh no, Santana's wrestling Kenta at Final Warning.
Oh, okay.
Here for New York.
Here in New York, right? Yeah.
Damn it.
And then Rhino and Zilla. Those are the only matches they've lined up.
Man, and they have Cardona and Zilla in Chicago, right?
In Chicago, yeah, I see that right here, Chicago.
Another prediction. What's your thoughts of Cardona coming back to WWE?
Agreed.
Maybe.
He comes back as the Rumble as back Cardona.
I don't know, man. I
just spoke about the Rumble.
I mean, I called it. I said on the Rumble episode too, which everybody should go check out.
Yeah, you just say it.
Yeah, you did.
Because you do this countdown clock, play his old theme, and then do the record scratch, and then play his new indie theme, and then he comes out. Because the idea of putting him and Chelsea on SmackDown, like if Matt Cardona gets the men's U.S. title and them two carry both U.S. belts, like we're the most American couple in wrestling history.
Is he wrestling that GW show on the 19th?
That'd be his last. Yeah, he'll be at the Hammerstein, but that's the end of his indie run now.
I mean, let me see. I don't know. I just don't see him leaving the indie scene yet. I feel like he's loving it right now. He's been loving it.
I mean, the whole Ring of Honor appearances was just a waste of time.
I mean, they wanted they wanted a face to catch attention, and Cardona being so popular here in the city, being a New Yorker,
Meanwhile, Homicide's sitting right there. You couldn't do Homicide and Jericho.
Well, Homicide is very particular about the matches he signs up for.
I don't give him the money I don't give him all the money in the world to drop Jericho on his head.
Yeah, I would too. But he's very particular.
Nah, I can't
In
do
conversations that we've had,
that.
yeah.
You can't
he
do
goes-
that. He's a legend, though. That guy's a legend in the
I have
business, yo.
respect for him. Yeah. No.
You can't do that to a guy like Jericho, yo. A
Wait,
big
Kurt Angle's doing a seminar for HOG? Oh my
Yeah.
god. I totally forgot about that. Look at that.
Kurt is doing it. Red. They announced Red doing the seminar.
The
Let's
same
keep
day.
looking.
The same
He
day
already
as Final
does it.
Warning.
Yeah.
So he's doing a seminar the same day as Final Warning. So that means he's going to be at the show.
Correct, but
Kurt?
they haven't announced him as
They
like
haven't
a meet and
announced it
greet.
yet. He'll be there.
You think he's gonna hang out?
I don't know.
You got to take advantage. Like, hey, we're bringing you in for a seminar. Might as well hang out for the show.
I mean, they brought him in before. Like he's done House of Glory before.
So another prediction we mentioned Cena wins the title for the 7th to get the 17, right?
I have him winning on night 2 of SummerSlam.
Night 2 of SummerSlam.
Correct.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So not Mania.
Because then you go into the fall, and then I think you can have like your Braun Breaker, somebody young, Jacob Fatu, somebody. Anybody just beat John Cena. Because I think John Cena will have like his own dedicated PLE at the end of the year.
I predict his last match will be Randy.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think his last match will be Randy.
Jay, you and me are on the same page. Look at this.
Yeah, I know. It's
scary. It's not supposed to happen.
Scared. Kind of odd.
I can see that. They came in together.
Yeah.
How about this oddball? I predict Paul Heyman turns on Roman and CM Punk in alliance with The Rock.
No, but I can't agree with the fact that Punk will get something because Heyman owes him a favor. I believe that somewhere along the line he's got to give him something. Got to be a shot of something.
I think it's the WrestleMania Night 1 main event. Or one of the nights.
It has to be something. He owes him for that Survivor Series thing. So
he's gonna make him the head of the table.
Punk knows that his time is not long in the business in the ring as well. So as I was talking to somebody, because they're like, oh my god, he's gonna sit there, he's gonna want to win the title. I was like, as much of an asshole Phil could be, Phil is also like a professor in wrestling. He knows that it's not really about the title. His moment is about having a great spot at Mania, and that's what he wants. Shawn Michaels is known as Mr. WrestleMania. His record sucks in Mania. Yeah. So I don't think it's about him getting a title. I think it's more about getting a moment, getting something, just getting something, because he hasn't really had it in his Manias that he had previously.
And Punk said at the post show, he said that I'm getting older, so I'm not going to be able to physically do a lot of the stuff I used to do. So, and he's using his mind. I mean, he has a plan for WrestleMania. Right. I don't know if it's against Roman Reigns or against Gunther. A lot of the title matches, or at least the two main ones, are like up in the air for me, because it's like there's so many factors with the Cena. You know what? I hate to say his name in this conversation, but Goldberg too, because you never fucking know. We might actually get Goldberg and Gunther at WrestleMania.
You said it's right. You say it one more time, and he's gonna pop up on fucking SmackDown next week or some shit like that.
They were confirmed Goldberg's. Well, they said Goldberg for the 27th on Raw, so you know what he's going to come back for.
I know I'm not tuning in then.
That's the one Raw you skip.
By the way, Ari, how was your feed for Netflix?
Don't ask.
Awful. It was awful. I feel like I'm the only person in the entire world that had this issue, because everybody's like, it's crystal clear for me. And I'm like, why am I the only one complaining that it looks like I'm watching a VHS tape from 1987?
But the funny thing is, like, that's your stream, like, right now, too. Like, you're very, it's not very clear, but it's like you're, like, moving slower.
Well, we expect this. This is a Netflix that we're on. Come on. Like, I pay money for Netflix. Everything else on Netflix is nice and clean, nice and smooth. I changed from the show I was watching on Netflix, literally, to Raw. Boom. I was like, what the hell is going on my screen?
I just a heads up. I watched it. I didn't watch it live. I watched it on my phone at work. It was beautiful.
You see
I
what I
felt so
mean?
bad because
Amazing.
it's like I'm like very clear on my screen, and you're like, what the fuck? It's
It looked.
blurry.
You saw. I mean, you saw the little clips I posted. They looked terrible. It looked terrible.
She had the
I'm like,
tiny Tony Storm like Vaseline on the screen.
no, that's exactly what it felt like. What am I watching? Like, this is mess. Like, it really took me out of the whole. I mean, I didn't find the show intriguing. It was too much talking, too many promo packages. I'm like, this is not for the real wrestling fan. This is for the casuals.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. That was the same thing that I said.
Yeah.
This is that show was for the returning fans. So.
An hour and a half and only one match.
It's a tough thing when Macaulay Culkin gets the pop of the night.
Dude, he got the biggest pop of the whole night.
He get booed out the building. Like, holy shit.
Thank God Hogan got booed because he deserved
That
it.
was hilarious.
Ari, do you think as a prediction, Rock shows up for Mania?
Yes, he'll be there.
Wrestle. Not a whole spot, not a guest spot. Wrestle.
See, now that's where I'm kind of been tossing and turning in my head because the way he came out yesterday as Dwayne Johnson, he didn't come out as The Rock, right?
Thank you. That wasn't The Rock. That was
Dwayne
Hollywood
Johnson.
Dwayne.
He put over Roman. He put over Cody. There was no kind of acknowledgement of where they left off with their feud a year ago, right?
Right.
And I just feel like that was his way of saying, I may or may not be there, and if I am, I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to get involved in the storyline anymore. He gave Roman his lei, his necklace. I always forget what it's called.
The Ulafala.
The Ulafala. And for me, that was kind of like his way. And it's true because I remember Mike was like, I thought he was going to jump him, right?
I think they had that camera angle where he's in the corner, like posing, like waiting.
I was waiting too. I'm like, is he going to jump him? And he didn't. He just stood there. He let him have his moment.
They're gonna have that moment where Roman turns his back on him, and he's like you turn your back on me, and then like I knew because now they're promoting the 27th that they're gonna have a acknowledge me celebration. Like great.
I don't know. I just feel like if he'll be there to get involved, like outside of the ring. Like he'll be involved in a match, but he's not going to be in the actual as a contender in the match, as an opponent in the match. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's slowing down.
If he fucks up WrestleMania plans one more time,
listen, you say he fucked up the plans. I said he saved WrestleMania because Night 1 would have been garbage without him there.
Oh, they redeemed it though because initially last year it wasn't like all like roses and shit. It was bullshit the way they started it off. I mean,
it was fine.
I just said that he
shot himself in the foot.
It's very obnoxious. I think he took the spotlight away from Roman by doing that shit with the Ulafala thing. I think that it wasn't his moment to do that. It should have
Rock though. He always does this.
But it was for Heyman to do. It was for Heyman to do. The only thing that I say if it alludes to down the line in which Rock does turn on Roman and says, you're not because they kept talking about who's the Grand Chief and who got handed or the High Chief and all that stuff. Right. So that's the only thing that it breaks down to, that at Mania it becomes Rock performing for the true tribal chief of whatever. That's fine. But other than that, like I don't know. I think he took a big piss out of everybody.
I think that was the first time they actually. That was the first time I think they actually said that on TV too. They since his grandfather passed away, like he's officially because it's like last year, like they never said anything about that. They showed that big tree graphic thing and never said like what the Rock's role was. So like his standing in the family, because they also did that thing on SmackDown where Roman said acknowledge me and he did it. Like, and then there was no follow up. It was like, oh, like Rock's following Roman, and you're thinking once Roman lost, like Rock's gonna be like, oh, like you suck, like you don't deserve your ranking, like you disappointed the family. Like, and it's like. We got nothing of that.
Yeah.
No, it's just why like it was just him being Dwayne Johnson, because the last time we saw him before, he came out, he did the whole little, and it walked off, right?
Yeah, and it was like then it's like last like Cody, I love you.
Yeah, he's like Cody, I love you. I love what you've done. We bled all over town, blah, 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 and all this shit. And it's like, okay, Dwayne, like you beat the shit out of him, is what you did.
It was funny. He said, like, make sure you tell Mama Rose I said hi. Like that was like the only thing of that story.
Even that was funny. But at the end, I mean, who knows? It could have just been, the people in charge telling him, listen, since a lot of people are going to tune in that don't know who you are as a wrestler, you need to just be yourself.
Right.
Well, they definitely gave him the word like don't go too long. We have everything timed perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
I got two
longest
more for
Star
you.
Tours show I've ever seen,
Yeah,
man.
I have 3 more.
All right. So, the Cope wins the world title at AEW.
Now that's when I would have Christian cash in on him just because you ain't doing shit here.
Yeah, that I would have him win the belt just for that, so that he and Christian could have, because come on, the chemistry is phenomenal together.
Oh, by the way, I just started it. Christian's gonna say like, "What the hell kind of name is Cope?" Just because your mother died doesn't mean you have to name yourself Cope.
The
Yeah,
Cope.
yeah. And your father abandoned you.
At least I knew my father.
The Cope.
Woo.
Who else you got?
I said on the Rumble episode, but I have Charlotte Flair winning the Women's Rumble and facing Rhea at WrestleMania
Okay.
Yeah.
to do that trilogy.
Yeah, gotta run it back. Okay.
Yeah, now after Rhea winning last night, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, when the gong went off, I go, "What are we doing?" I was like, "What are
They
we
missed the
doing?"
opportunity, man. They should have had fucking Rhea ride on the back of the motorcycle with Undertaker and ride off.
I was pissed because in that moment after she won, I said, "Okay, let me see what the hell's going on with my settings," and I backed out, and then I went back in, and Taker's like rolling around the ring. I'm like, "The hell did I just miss?" Like,
It's like you skipped a segment. You thought.
Yeah, shout out to Matt. Matt was like, she after the whole thing beating up on Dominic, and so Taker should have came, did the whole run around the ring, picked up Rhea and rolled her to the back, and they
that
just
would have
stood
been
there
dope. With their fists up
and
in
they
the air
rolled
together.
and rolled
Yeah,
off.
that would have been cute. That would have been cute.
No, they missed a chance for Undertaker to give Dominic a choke slam. I like the kick of the balls, but that would have been something like he just grabbed him by the throat and just slammed him.
What else
See,
you got,
I also
Mike?
felt like,
Oh, no.
I also felt like with that segment, like I have mentioned it, like Damien should have came out. That was his best friend winning the belt.
Right.
That was his idol in the ring, or his idol came out. They could have done something together too, like
That's
double
true.
choke. Like Finn could have came out and they could have done double choke slams and shit.
All right.
I can only see Adi in the pitch meeting right now for creative. Okay, I got a spot for Damien again.
Hello.
Again.
You gotta use this man.
Meanwhile, he was nowhere on the show.
No.
And then they announced, next week main event street fight with Finn Balor.
He was backstage with a weird looking suit on.
One of my last ones here, I'll just give. I think this one I kind of hope happens, but I have David Finlay chooses WWE over AEW and signs with WWE. His name is Finlay, and he still loves to fight.
Yeah, there is a pipeline there for it. There is something there, straight there. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Because WWE has to snatch one of these guys from New Japan at this point, because they're all going to AEW. And looking at David Finlay and his history, or who his father is, it would be a better fit, I think, in WWE, and maybe WWE can show something. It'd be also weird to see him in NXT, but also like I see him mixing well with the WWE roster than the AEW one.
I can see him as a Judgment Day guy.
No, I think Judgment Day is going to disband this year.
You think so?
Yeah, they need to kill that. I actually would like to see Judgment Day, just see it end, because it's so bad right now. That's why, like, I always have my fear about, like, on one hand, you want to see Rhea and Damien separate from them, but on the other hand, they were the glue that held the group together.
Ever since then.
Yeah, it's all on them, and these guys are.
Maybe they need a real leader. Maybe that could be. Remember, Finlay, wasn't he a member of the recent Bullet Club?
No, he's still their leader.
Oh, look at that! So Finn being the originator of the Bullet Club, hey, there's ties there.
Little story there, yeah.
Ari, you have anything?
Honestly, I don't. I was sitting here thinking about what could happen, and it's just so hard because it's so unpredictable these days with the behind the scenes going on in wrestling. It's just so unpredictable.
I mean, it's funny because I have Damian Priest winning the men's chamber to challenge Gunther for the world title, so that pretty much settles. Because I think It's like again, it's like either Gunther is Goldberg or Gunther is somebody else or Cena. It's like all the challenges are mixing around with. It's like
Yeah, exactly. It's just so hard to pinpoint something, you know?
right. For all we
Yeah,
know, they could do. Imagine this: Cody, Roman, Cena, and Punk in a 4-way.
something.
Like a random, like we don't see 4-way matches in WrestleMania often, and you have four of the biggest personalities in one ring because you can tell the story too. Cena either wins the Rumble or he wins the Chamber to get in. Roman technically
Hmm.
still has a rematch that he hasn't used yet, and then Punk has the favor. That'd be it. Because imagine if it's announced Roman, Cena, and Cody, and then Heyman goes, "Unfortunately, my tribal chief, the favor is now." CM Punk's
Hmm.
in this match as well because like it'd be an interesting 4-way match, and then you can still do the Cody heel turn. Be like, I just beat all three of your heroes or darlings.
Yeah, they need to do something.
Yeah,
It's just tough. It's tough because I we start falling into like the fantasy booking,
right.
department with the stuff, and it's like it's just it never goes our way.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna say anything, I see Willow defeating Mercedes. Yeah, defeating Mercedes for the belt.
Which
She,
one? Which,
yeah, right now she's got a whole collection now. But the TBS, she's taking the TBS belt off of her.
I
She's the one to do it.
I would say she beats Mariah.
Hmm. I don't know if there's the
I think
time yet.
Well,
I
either
think
Chris.
yeah, Mike.
Maybe I can see Statlander leveling up to the title.
But yeah, finally.
She needs to.
Yeah,
Hmm.
finally.
But Willow, I think she's the one that lost it to her. She's the one that's gonna take it off of her. Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
finally for me, which is going to be the longest shot of a prediction here. I'll say, finally, Tony realizes that it's not working, and he gives up the book, and it's either going to Jarrett, Danielson, or Jericho.
No Jericho. I think Danielson will be the one.
I think because I think Tony's been public saying like if he ever dies, God
Hmm.
forbid, that Danielson will take over.
If anything ever, if he
Yeah,
can't run it, it'll be Danielson.
If
Yeah.
he runs out of coke and just passes out.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of those
And
has.
and yeah, and then Jarrett could be like the right hand man for
Yeah,
Danielson.
I think they're going to finally realize that that the consensus is across the board with just what they have right now is just their fan base and that's it. And there's not doesn't seem like that growth is going to be there. And they're going to realize it's because listen, booking is shit. So they're going to end up you're going to have to fold and say, hey, listen, or the network is going to say, listen, you're going to have to do something. You got to change this up.
I don't even think the network cares. They're like, hey, you're still bringing this money, so
I don't know, and I think that's what it's going to be. This will be the telltale sign of it. 2025 will be the telltale sign because of it. The only thing that works for them is the fact that they transitioned over to Max, and which is funny because they still drew a 588 fucking rating, 588,000 watched that day. So who the hell watched it on Max besides
I
me?
did.
I did.
Everybody I know watched it on Max. Everybody.
I didn't
They all
watch it.
said it.
I didn't watch it live. I watched it afterwards, like immediately afterwards. And when I put it on, I didn't get English. I got Spanish subs on mine.
Really?
Yeah, and I got the Spanish translation on mine. I was like, what the hell is going on with this?
That's hilarious. Mine was perfect. Everything went. That was. I felt like I was in the arena watching it. That's how clear it was on my TV. I'm like, see now, why couldn't Netflix do this for me?
Already had the opposite effects from the from the Netflix one to the HBO Max.
Oh my god! When I put it on, I was like, whoa, this is so bright. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, that
No
was the only
issues
thing.
with audio. Nothing.
I mean,
It was collision too.
I think Danielson will eventually he'll have a bigger role, and I do think. Because I don't know what the hell is going on in Ring of Honor too. I mean, you can give Nigel McGuinness the book for that too, or Jarrett gets the book
That'd
for
be
that.
great.
It's like there's people like over there that like McGuinness and Jerry Lynn that are over there. Like give them Ring of Honor. Like I don't think Ring of Honor is getting a TV deal. I don't think that's happening.
Well, there is talks of possibly getting them one, but who knows where?
I don't know.
Who wants it?
What I see is maybe like the Honor Club getting absorbed by Max.
Yeah, that could be it.
Having
Yeah,
having it on Max
Because
All the
content is key these days.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah. Other than that, guys, thanks again for your time for stepping in. You guys had a jam-packed episode this week on History and Headlocks. Ariana, what happened on that show this week?
Oh, well, we were discussing the history of the Royal Rumble and its origins, some of the highlights that we've seen along the way, some of the lowlights that we've seen as well, and we also had our Royal Rumble predictions for.
And Mike, we were introduced to a new game, Mike.
Yes, we were. Identify Hogan's lie, which is funny because there's so many of them. So this game's gonna go on forever.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a litany of segments for that coming down the line.
Oh,
But don't forget, we had a third person join us. We had my former podcast host from General Admission Wrestling Podcast, Ben, joined us. So that was very interesting. And
yeah, it was kind of awkward. It was like the old girlfriend met the new girlfriend. It was kind of
and I made that joke in the intro,
weird.
Sir. We were both like, "What?" Baby
like,
Mance Warner.
Is that right?
Really, I never realized. I'm like, oh, he really does look like Mance Warner when he started talking like Austin. I'm like, whoa.
So you're the new me? Yeah, you're the old me?
Damn.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking in, man, as always, man.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, don't go anywhere. Check you guys in a sec.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy.